Once known as one of the most isolated and untouched regions of Indonesia, Papua has suddenly become the center of global attention. The vast island, rich in natural beauty and biodiversity, is now being transformed into a massive agricultural powerhouse, a food estate project that has stunned economists, environmentalists, and political observers around the world. For decades, Papua was perceived as a distant land of dense jungles, rugged mountains, and indigenous tribes living in harmony with nature. But today, it is the stage of one of the most ambitious food production projects in Southeast Asia, a transformation so rapid that it has raised both hope and controversy in equal measure. The Papua Food Estate Project, launched under Indonesia's National Food Security Initiative, aims to convert thousands of hectares of land into productive farmland. With global food prices rising and climate change threatening agricultural stability, the Indonesian government saw an opportunity to turn Papua's fertile soil into a national asset. Officials described it as a strategic move to ensure food self-sufficiency and reduce dependence on imports. But as bulldozers rolled in and satellite images revealed expanding farmlands, the world began to take notice, and not everyone was celebrating. Local communities were among the first to react. Many indigenous Papuans, whose ancestors have lived on these lands for centuries, found themselves facing a new reality. "We were told this project will bring jobs and progress," said one community leader in Merauke, "but we worry about losing our forests and our traditions." For the government, this development was a symbol of modernization. For the locals, it was a test of survival. The clash between progress and preservation became the central theme of Papua's transformation. International observers quickly joined the debate. The food estate project was hailed by some as a model of sustainable agricultural development in the tropics, but environmental groups raised red flags. They warned that massive land clearing could threaten Papua's unique ecosystems, home to countless rare species. Satellite images published by independent researchers showed alarming deforestation in certain zones, sparking outrage among conservationists. The World Wildlife Fund (WWF) and Greenpeace called for greater transparency, urging Indonesia to balance food production with environmental protection. Yet the story did not stop there. What truly shocked the world was the scale of global interest in Papua's transformation. From China to the Middle East, countries started showing curiosity, and even investment interest, in the project. Indonesia, strategically positioned between the Pacific and Indian Oceans, suddenly found itself holding a potential key to regional food security. Reports suggested that several international investors, including agrotech companies from Singapore and the UAE, were exploring partnerships in Papua's agricultural zones. The region that was once considered too remote to develop had become a magnet for global attention. Economically, the Papua Food Estate promised new hope. The Indonesian government projected that within a decade, Papua could produce millions of tons of rice, corn, and other staple crops. Such output would not only strengthen Indonesia's domestic food supply but could also turn the nation into a significant exporter. For local farmers, the opportunity was enormous. Access to new technologies, improved irrigation systems, and market integration could change lives. "This is a new era for Papua," declared Indonesia's Minister of Agriculture. "We are no longer talking about isolation, we are talking about integration with the global economy." But optimism was met with skepticism. Critics argued that large-scale agricultural expansion in Papua was not the right solution to Indonesia's food challenges. Some economists pointed out that similar projects in other parts of the country had failed to deliver sustainable results due to poor management and corruption. Environmental activists also warned that Papua's fragile ecosystem could suffer irreversible damage if not carefully managed. Reports of forest burning, river pollution, and land disputes began to surface, painting a more complex picture of development. The debate reached international forums. During a global climate summit in 2025, Papua's food estate became a case study discussed by scientists and policymakers. Was this the future of sustainable food production, or a repeat of past mistakes? Indonesia defended its project strongly, emphasizing that the government was using modern technologies, such as drone mapping, smart irrigation, and biofertilizers, to minimize environmental impact. But skepticism remained, especially among Western environmental groups who accused Jakarta of prioritizing profit over preservation. Meanwhile, on the ground, change was happening fast. Villages that once relied solely on hunting and gathering began to see the rise of machinery and modern agriculture. Roads were built where there were once dirt tracks. Electricity reached communities that had never experienced it before. For young Papuans, new opportunities emerged: education, employment, and entrepreneurship. For the first time, our children can dream beyond the forest, said a teacher from Wamena. The transformation was undeniable, even if it came at a cost. Socially, the project reshaped the fabric of Papua. Migration increased as workers from other Indonesian provinces arrived to participate in the food estate program. This influx created both opportunity and tension. Indigenous groups feared being outnumbered or marginalized, while newcomers saw the region as a land of promise. Government initiatives tried to bridge the divide through inclusive development policies, but deep cultural differences made integration challenging. Still, the narrative of Papua Rising became a powerful symbol of Indonesia's vision for equality and national unity. The global media played a significant role in amplifying Papua's story. Major outlets like The Guardian, Al Jazeera, and Reuters began publishing reports on the region's rapid transformation. Some hailed it as a miracle of modern agriculture, while others warned of a green colonialism threatening indigenous rights. The world's attention was now firmly fixed on a region that, until recently, had been considered the edge of civilization. Documentaries, satellite analyses, and social media campaigns made Papua a trending topic, igniting conversations about sustainability, justice, and the future of food. Technologically, Papua's food estate became a laboratory for innovation. Indonesia partnered with foreign companies to deploy smart farming systems, drones for crop monitoring, and AI-based weather forecasting. These technologies promised efficiency and resilience against climate change. Experts noted that such initiatives could make Indonesia a regional leader in agrotech. Yet, they also cautioned that technology without accountability could deepen inequality if not shared fairly with local farmers. The controversy around the project also sparked political ripples. Opposition parties accused the government of using the food estate project for political gain ahead of upcoming elections. Allegations of land grabbing, corruption, and misuse of funds began circulating in the media. In response, President Joko Widodo reaffirmed the project's integrity, stating that it was a national necessity aimed at securing Indonesia's future. He promised strict environmental oversight and collaboration with local communities. "We cannot let Papua be left behind," he said in a televised address. "We must ensure that its people prosper alongside its progress." By late 2025, the first major harvests began. Cornfields and rice paddies stretched across areas that were once thick jungle. Yields were impressive, and Indonesia's agricultural output reached record levels. Global analysts took notice, calling it a potential model for developing countries. Yet beneath the surface, the question lingered: could this progress last without harming the environment and eroding cultural heritage? Environmental scientists remained cautious. They warned that deforestation in Papua could accelerate climate risks, affecting rainfall patterns across the region. Indigenous rights activists continued to demand stronger protections and fair compensation for displaced families. Meanwhile, the government announced plans to reforest certain areas and establish nature reserves alongside agricultural zones, an attempt to find balance between progress and preservation. The Papua food estate story, however, was no longer just about agriculture. It had become a mirror reflecting the global struggle between development and conservation, modernity and tradition, ambition and responsibility. The world watched closely, knowing that what happened in Papua could influence future policies across Asia and beyond. International conferences began citing it as a living experiment, one that could either redefine sustainable development or stand as a cautionary tale. Today, as drones hover above vast plantations and farmers work side by side with digital tools, Papua's identity is evolving. It is no longer seen as Indonesia's forgotten frontier, but as a frontier of transformation. The phrase, "Dulu Terpencil, Kini Jadi Sorotan Dunia," once remote, now the world's spotlight, perfectly captures this moment. Papua stands at a crossroads. One path leading toward prosperity and global recognition, the other toward ecological and cultural loss. Whether this bold experiment succeeds or fails, one thing is certain: the world will keep watching. For Papua, the stakes have never been higher. The island that was once known for silence and mystery now echoes with the hum of tractors, the buzz of drones, and the debates of a world trying to decide what kind of future it truly wants. In the end, Papua's food estate is more than a project. It is a story of hope, challenge, and transformation, a reflection of humanity's endless quest to balance progress with preservation. And perhaps, as history unfolds, it will remind the world that even the most remote corners of the earth can rise to shape the destiny of nations.